Hello everybody, Famous here, bringing you another video. Today's doing Pinkie Tales, Slumber Jack, aka Sleeping Beauty. So, the last one was about Rarity, I think? Oh, Rapunzel, I think. Anyway, so that was like about Tangle or something. Rapunzel right on your hair. So, let's see what Slumber Jack is all about. Play button 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Pinkie Tales.
Pinkie Tales. Slumber Jack.
A magpiepony.
I can't wait to tell you tonight's story, Poundin' Pumpkin. And it should get you right to sleep, too, because it's all about sleeping. Once upon a time.
There once was an Earth Pony kingdom called Appalestria.
Ooh,
The ponies who
Appalestria.
inhabited this kingdom had one sole purpose, to grow and sell apples, which they would then trade for other resources with neighboring kingdoms. It
That's
was
nice.
ruled by a benevolent king and a kind-hearted queen, who longed for nothing more than to have a child of their own. At last, the blessed day arrived when they welcomed a healthy, beautiful, golden-maned orange fur baby filly into the world. A
Aww.
filly that they had named Appalora.
Appalora.
Huh? Pinkie, how did you... Wait. You know, every time I get roped into these things, I keep thinking, there's no way it could possibly get more embarrassing. Pinkie, you truly astound me with your ability to prove me wrong.
I think he meant to say goo goo gaga.
That's crossing the line.
Okay, Pinkie just
It was
broke.
custom
AJ
in
broke
those
the fourth
days for
wall.
the birth of a royal foal to be blessed with gifts from neighboring kingdoms.
That's a first.
Gifts that were delivered by those kingdoms invited ambassadors. It was also customary for their own ambassador to accompany the others so that each type of pony would be equally represented.
Okay, that would hurt someone's ears.
Presenting Flority,
Flority.
ambassador to the Unicorn Kingdom, Fabulosity.
One of the
Makes
heralding trumpeters
flashulosity.
announced, Flority was a striking white unicorn with a deep purple mane, expertly styled around the traditional ambassador hat, customary to her profession. Her hat, however, had a touch of her unique style, adding gemstones, ribbons, and lace.
Of
She
course.
walked with her head held high, and a confident, though slightly distasteful, expression on her face. She approached the king and queen and bowed. They returned the gesture.
She doesn't like.
Presenting Fluttershy,
Fluttershy.
ambassador to the Pegasus Kingdom, Weathersby.
The ambassador timidly poked her head out from behind the doors and gulped, little beads of sweat forming on her brow as she gauged how many pairs of eyes were on her. She whimpered and took a shaky step into the doorway,
Oh, come
keeping
on.
her eyes cast downward.
You can do it, Fluttershy.
A third
Pinkie,
voice
stop
called
breaking the
from behind
fourth
her.
wall.
Yes, but don't worry. We haven't got all day.
Oh, sorry. Of course.
Fauna Shy said, timidly walking forward. She was a yellow Pegasus with a long, pink flowing mane, and she too had the traditional ambassador hat, though hers was only accentuated with a single flower. She quickly
Cute.
made her way down to the carpet to bow to the king and queen.
It's about time.
Oh,
Flority said through gritted
Rarity. Okay, those ones are really getting annoying.
Presenting Mary Pie, ambassador to...
Mary Pie.
Hello, Appalestria! Silly Mr. Harold Trumpet Stallion. Every pony knows who I am. I'm Appalestria's ambassador, duh. Besides, I'm almost positive I'm related to the apples. Way back in my family tree. I mean, my family apple tree. I love a good pun.
The herald rolled his eyes and played the procession for Mary Pie while she bounced down the carpet, waving and talking to various members of the crowd that she appeared to know personally. Mary Pie was a vivacious pink earth pony with a bouncy pink mane. Her ambassador hat looked more like something you would find at a foal's birthday party,
Yeah.
with streamers and polka dots. She bowed to the royal family and joined the other ambassadors with a big smile on her face.
Lest you make a complete fool of yourself, you are representing a noble and dignified profession, Mary Pie.
That's
Flority
true.
spat angrily, causing Fauna Shy to take a few nervous steps away from her.
Whoa, some pony woke up on a grumpy side of the bed today. Come on, Flority, let's see a smile. This is a happy day. We're having a party to celebrate the birth of this little baby filly.
Yeah.
Definitely a baby and not a grown mare.
How absurd. Of course she is a baby. Why make such outlandish statements that are obvious to any pony?
Yeah.
Flority whispered, just loud enough for the other ambassadors to hear. Mary Pie's ears drooped, and she stood quietly next to Fawnashy, who put a hoof on her back with a smile to comfort her.
Aww.
Thank you very much for coming today.
The queen said with a warm smile.
We will be honored by any gifts you have brought us on this momentous occasion.
The king added.
Oh yeah, the gifts!
Gifts?
Me first, me first!
Mary Pie shouted, bouncing up to Apollora's crib, which was far too small for the infant it held.
Yeah, it's kind of
Exactly
big.
how long do I have to be a baby, Pink? Mary Pie? This is a mite uncomfortable.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Apolora sure is a talkative little thing, isn't she? It's almost like she thinks she's saying real words. Gitchy gitchy goo.
Mary Pie said, reaching to tickle the baby's belly. Apollora swatted her hoof away.
Whoa.
Don't even think about it. We're way past the line, Pinkie Pie.
Yeah.
Dearest Apolora, I come with a gift from your own kingdom. A gift without which we earth ponies would be lost. In fact, it's in our name. I bring you earth, or more specifically, mud.
Mary Pie said, dropping a large hoofful of mud onto Apollora, who screamed out in surprise and sputtered out the mud that had gotten in her mouth.
Are you kidding me?
But not just any mud, it's magical mud.
It is.
This mud is gonna help you grow up big and strong. You're welcome.
How thoughtful.
How disgusting.
Your turn, Fawnashy.
Mary said, bouncing away while Apollora attempted to clean herself.
Sweet little filly, I come bearing a gift from my king.
Fawnashy said, pulling a
Who's
small
the-
tuft
I
of
wonder who
cloud
the
out
king
from under
is.
her wing. It hovered in the air beside her.
What? How does she do that? It just came out of nowhere.
Mary Pie said in
I
awe,
wonder who the
pulling
king.
a bag of popcorn from
Where'd
her
they get
leg
that popcorn?
and offering Flority a bite.
Want some?
So, does the cloud do anything special?
Lightning.
Started, but was cut short when the little cloud created a bolt of lightning that sent a wave of electricity through Apollora.
Oh no! It wasn't supposed to hurt her. It was supposed to bless her with speed and agility. I had no idea it would do that. Please, please forgive me, Apollora. Are you alright? I'd say she was pretty shocked too, Fawnashy.
Boo.
To which the room groaned in disapproval of the bad pun.
Before Fawnashy kills the little filly, I bestow upon her my gift.
Flority said,
I wonder
catching
who the-
Apollora from a distraught Fawnashy's hooves with her magic and levitating her in the air.
Whoa.
Before we get to that, I must say there is a rather troubling problem with the dignitaries present to bless the foe. Specifically, the exclusion of another kingdom from this celebration.
What?
Earth, Pegasi, Unicorn. Who was left out? Oh, I know. Alicorns.
Acorns?
Oh, right. This is before Equestria. So
Yeah.
there probably aren't any. Well, I'm stumped.
But all the pony ambassadors are present. Who
Yeah.
could we have forgotten?
Ooh.
A noble kingdom, just as worthy of your attention and praise, but yet denied it. A kingdom ignored and shunned by you ponies for far too long. I do indeed have a gift for this foe. A gift to teach you pathetic ponies the consequences of your boorish actions and behaviors. My gift is a curse.
What?
Before this foal turns 16 years old, she shall choke on an apple seed and die!
Sounds like some pony needs a hug.
The room erupted in gasps and shouts of concern. The king, queen, ambassadors, and crowd watched helplessly as the foal was briefly engulfed in dark magic before falling back onto her crib.
You know, with all that monologuing she did, you ponies had plenty of time to stop her.
Yeah.
Saying.
Flority laughed evilly, her sweet dulcet tones morphing into deranged and deep laughter. Soon the Flority disguise she had been hiding behind melted, to reveal the queen of changelings herself, as dark and malevolent as all ponies had come to know
Whoa.
their kind. The crowd trembled in fear as the changeling queen descended.
Wow.
Look upon me, you pathetic ponies, and remember the day that you...
Pinkie Pie?
Hi?
What
What
in
are
the
you
corner
doing? What are you doing?
Oh, it's funny you should ask. See, I realized that I always play the same character in these stories, and sometimes that can get kind of boring, so I swapped.
You
What?
I switched places with Chrissy, duh! I want to be the bad guy for once. Seems like a really fun role to play.
Thank
So
you.
that means she's...
Uh-huh. She's gonna be the Earth Pony Ambassador from now on. More specifically, she'll be the bubbly, fun-loving, party-throwing Mary Pie character.
I don't know about that, Pinkie.
Yeah,
I mean, she's still chrysalis.
she is. She's
Worry,
still
Marina.
evil.
Chrissy can't break the fourth wall. No pony will ever even know. Now, if you don't mind, I have to finish my evil plot monologue, since that's what all the good villains do.
I like Quizzes better.
You pathetic ponies, and remember the day that you spurned the wrong kingdom. Let this be a warning to all that no pony, Earth, Pegasi, or Unicorn will be safe from the wrath of the changelings.
It's Maleficus, Queen of the Changelings! Seize her!
The king shouted, drawing his sword and rallying his soldiers to ready for an attack. She merely scoffed and engulfed herself in pink, I guess,
Yes.
disappearing from the throne room before any pony could lay a hoof on her.
Wait, so Pinkie is the bad guy and the ambassador?
Appalora shouted as she clapped on the shy Mary Pie standing
Ah.
beside her crib, looking down at her sympathetically.
Oh, come
That's
on.
just
It's
wrong. Pinkie Pie, what did you do?
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, AJ. I swapped characters with Chrysalis. So
That-
I'm her and she's me. All right, now we can get back to the story.
No.
Aw, poor little thing.
Mary Pie said, reaching out to comfort Appalora.
No. I'm calm. Totally calm. Don't touch me.
Yeah,
Appalora
don't
said,
touch her.
scooting away from Mary Pie's grasp. The queen trotted to her daughter's side to calm her.
My poor darling. There must be something we can do. A counter curse or a remedy. Something. Anything.
There's gotta be
The room
something.
went silent, no pony knowing the answer to the desperate mother's plea, and fearing the worst on behalf of the princess. When they did so, a faint muffled sound could be heard from somewhere outside the throne room.
Does any pony else hear that?
I
It
hear
sounds
that.
like it's coming from over there.
Guards!
The king said, pointing in the direction that Mary Pie had indicated. Moments later, the guards appeared again, helping the real Ambassador Flority remove the gag and ropes that bound her.
That brutish devil mare tied me up and took my place. I couldn't do a thing to stop her.
Flority!
Mary Pie exclaimed, bouncing towards her friend and hugging her tightly.
How awful!
Fauna Shy said, joining Mary Pie in an embrace.
Worst of all, she stole my one-of-a-kind bejeweled ambassador hat. I'll never be able to replace something so exquisite.
Don't worry, Flority. Maleficus left your hat behind. She didn't want it after all.
Aw.
She didn't? Well, why not?
Fair Flority. Can your unicorn magic or the magic of your kingdom spare our filly from such a terrible fate?
The queen asked, fighting back tears as she pulled Appalora in her hooves, holding her close. The king joined in their embrace, failing to fight back the sadness in his expression.
That's cute.
Appalora's eyes too filled with tears, though not for her cursed circumstances. She snuggled into her parents, relishing being close to them again.
This story is such a strange combination of funny and sad. I don't know what to feel.
Neither,
No,
actually.
maybe.
You're the villain,
Villain,
now, so such displays of affection should probably repulse you.
Yeah.
Doki Loki.
Yeah, you're.
Ew, a tender moment. Preceded and followed by jokes and puns. How repulsive. I've got this villain thing down. Now
Pinkie,
I just
you.
need to find a clumsy yet likable hench pony.
You need
Suppose
some
it
work
doesn't
on that,
matter
Pinkie.
What gift I had originally planned to give. Now I must clean up the mess left by that wretched mare.
Good.
Sorry, Appalora. You'll just have to grow up without the gifts of elegance and grace.
Aww.
And she can't have both because...
Us.
I mean, who's making up these rules?
Yeah.
I should point out, however, that unicorn magic and changeling magic are vastly different. So
how
I
are?
may not be able to counter the curse, but I can soften it.
How? How can you soften it?
Darling Appalora, you shall not perish when you choke upon that seed, but instead, beauty sleep. You will only awaken from this slumber by true love's kiss. And, just in case that takes a while, the rest of your castle and the ponies inside will slumber too.
Wait, what?
Frozen in time, awaiting that glorious day.
How is that helpful?
That way, she'll be curse-free. You won't have to wait and worry about when that will happen. And she'll have found the proper prince. Quite brilliant, don't you agree?
Flaherty said with a smile. The king looked to the queen, and they nodded in approval and relief, but the ambassador still saw grief and fear in their eyes.
Kissing a stranger or choking on an apple seed. I honestly don't know which is worse.
I
Appalora muttered.
don't know either.
For the kingdom's sake, the king and queen continued the celebration as planned, refusing to let Maleficus's curse ruin the festivities. However, when the day ended and the pony guests had left, the royal couple asked a favor of the three ambassadors. They were grateful for Flaherty's alteration of the spell, but would rather spare their daughter from the curse altogether. They knew that in a kingdom comprised of apples and apple accessories, that Appalora would never truly be safe. They appealed to the three ambassadors to take Appalora with them, to raise her somewhere far from her kingdom until her 16th birthday had passed. The ambassadors were touched by their plea and agreed. They fled the castle by moonlight, while Appalora and her parents watched with heavy hearts as the distance between them grew, until they were out of sight.
I don't
The
think...
three ambassadors traveled many miles until they came upon an old abandoned cottage in the woods.
Ooh,
between
nice
kingdoms.
cottage.
This shall do nicely.
Flaherty said with a smile, opening the door that then broke from its rusted hinges and landed on the floor.
Ooh, maybe
It
not.
just needs a little straightening up is all.
Well,
Fawnashy entered the cottage, pushing Appalora in a too small baby carriage. She accidentally flapped her wings, causing the piles of dust resting on the old furniture to whirl around in the air,
Nice
making
one.
all four ponies cough.
Oh, sorry.
All right, a lot of straightening up.
yeah.
Flaherty amended, setting Appalora gently down on an old bed with her magic.
I have an idea!
You do?
Fawnashy, you like animals, right? Maybe you could get a few of them to help us clean the place up?
That's not a bad
Wrong
idea.
Story, Mary Pie.
Cleaning is the least of our problems, Phillies.
That is
We have
really was the
all
wrong
our
story.
to attend to. We are living between Earth Pony Kingdoms, and Maleficus is sure to find us once the villagers spread the rumor that two Earth Ponies are living harmoniously with a Pegasus and a unicorn. We will
How
have
would
to
how
end
would
them.
him get out?
Much as I hate to admit it, I will have to refrain from using magic and conceal my horn from others. Fawnashy, you must hide your wings.
What about me?
You're an Earth Pony already, darling. You don't need to hide your horn and wings.
logic there,
Okie dokie Loki. Ooh, now let's name the little filly. You know, 'cause everyone will know the princess is named Appalora. She
That's
needs a
true.
new name.
That's-
So what will we call her instead?
She's such a little angel. Maybe we can call her that.
Little
Call
angel.
her Emerald. with
Emerald?
Lovely eyes. Or Amber like her fur.
Amber?
I'm more fond of the name Opal.
Opal.
Oh, let's call her Gummy.
Mary
Gummy.
Pie said
Yeah,
joyously,
Gummy.
then noted the confused looks on the other ambassadors'
That's like
faces.
alligator's name.
You know, because she doesn't have teeth yet?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, we simply must agree on something.
Yeah.
Can't leave her without a name. Where is she?
Flaherty panicked, seeing the bed where she had placed the filly was now empty.
Yeah, where'd
All
she
three
go?
ambassadors immediately began searching around the room. Appalora was not too far away, sweeping up the piles of dust on the floor with a broom she had found.
You didn't expect me to just lay around when there was work to be done, did you?
Appalora asked, undeterred from her work. The ambassadors sighed in relief, and Fawnashy scooped Appalora into her hooves.
Aw, how sweet! She's playing with a broom. She wants.
Why
to
does the
help
broom look
clean
like
up,
apple
don't
bloom
you,
bow?
little Sweeping beauty, you.
This joke is getting old, Pinkie Pie.
It is.
Mary Pie. That's it.
Eh?
That's what we'll call her. Beauty.
Beauty.
Oh, I love that name.
Beauty pie.
All right, they named me Pinkie Pie, Malefic, something.
Yes?
Have you been here all along?
Uh-huh. It's not hard to figure out that 3 ponies pushing a baby carriage are trying to sneak away with the princess. What do I look like? An idiot?
You know, I'm not going to answer that.
Fiona the dog!
Is that Winona?
Now she's wearing Corona. Get it? Because Maleficent's pet is a crow. She's my wacky yet lovable sidekick. Plus, she's a really good tracker. I didn't even have to try and follow you 4 closely when Corona picked up your scent.
All right,
fine.
Can we please just move past this baby phase of the story?
Please.
The joke is well past its prime.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure thing, beauty. Time skip.
There we go.
Rosie,
That's
Fluttershy,
much
and
better.
Mary Pie spent the next 16 years raising and caring for Beauty as if she was their own, pretending to be her 3 aunts. They kept a very close eye on Appalora, whom they named Beauty, and she grew to be swift, strong, and a hard worker. Beauty kept the cottage clean and cared for herself and her aunts. In her 16 years, regardless of her cutie mark, she never tasted an apple. On her 16th birthday, the ambassadors wanted to celebrate it with a surprise party. Rather than keeping her locked safe in the house for one more day, or pretending the day after was her birthday for her own safety, they decided to send her out into the forest alone to pick some cherries. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what they were doing. But Appalora pretended to be clueless and went along the forest path with a single empty basket. When she came upon the cherry trees, she set it down and bucked the trunk. Soon after, a cascade of cherries fell directly into her basket. She walked to the next cherry tree and bucked again. But something much bigger than the cherries was shaken loose from the treetop. A blue Pegasus with a rainbow mane came tumbling to the ground, landing directly on Beauty's basket, squashing the cherries she had gathered.
Hello.
Of course, it's RD. You know, there are a lot of male characters out there that haven't been in these stories yet.
That's true.
The joke? It's comedy, AJ. You're supposed to laugh.
I'm not.
Hey, I was taking a nap up there. Why'd you? Hello there.
You know, I thought she'd be the.
What's yours?
If your name's RD, why do you have an A on your satchel?
Yeah, what's A for?
ARDEE. Ha, that's me. But you still haven't told me your name, beautiful.
Appalora Beauty.
Beauty. Yeah, nice.
Can't keep these things straight.
Yeah, you can't.
Appalora Beauty, huh? That first part almost sounded like Appalora. You know, that long-lost princess of Appalestria?
Shut up.
How would you know that?
Yeah.
No reason?
Sure.
Not because I'm a prince or anything looking to find true love.
Don't break the fourth wall.
Seen or heard of any pony named Appalora, have you?
The better question is, what's a Pegasus doing napping in Earth Pony territory anyway?
Yeah, what is that?
Love doesn't know one pony type from another. Plus, I couldn't find a certain special some pony as a Pegasus. I mean, there was this one, but she couldn't keep track of her glass shoes.
Really?
And there was another pony who was half a fish. But
what was wrong with half fish?
Something's missing. I figured that tracking down a long-lost princess would be a challenge, and maybe she could be the one. Though I doubt she'd be as
Send her
pretty
sigh.
as you.
Well, you're an improvement from Darling Dash, so that's something.
Ha! They call that
Appalora isn't going to be around for another day, but by then she'll probably show up at the castle, so your quest won't be too long.
Appalora said, dumping the ruined cherries from her basket.
Well, that's the problem. There's no challenge in that.
No.
I have to find her today. Otherwise, what's the point?
Beauty smiled but rolled her eyes. She bucked another cherry tree, and Artie followed.
I gotta admit, you're the only pony I've met who actually knows anything about this mysterious princess. Why don't you and I team up to find her?
Team up?
Why
You
would I
wanna
wanna
do that?
Got
Why would
anything
you?
better to do?
Good point. All right, RD. I'll be honest with you. I am Appalora. So I guess that means your quest was fruitful after all. You see that, Pinkie? I can pun too.
Not bad. Not great, but you'll get there.
Yeah, I don't.
Appalora? But you're on the border of the kingdom of Cherrysburg.
And yet,
Jerry's
my cutie
born of
mark says
Cherrysburg?
otherwise.
What
Beauty
is that?
said, showing Artie the trio of apples on her flank.
Doesn't really make sense since I haven't eaten an apple in my life, but I suppose that's just story convenience.
Sure.
Alright then, let's get you back to the castle. No, wait! That evil changeling queen might find you before the sun sets.
Yeah.
Huh? What's that?
Don't mind that. That's just some pony trying to ruin the plot.
Are you
We
sure?
found in the Pegasus Kingdom.
Pegasus?
Never find you there.
Earth Pony.
Or in my cottage, since it's about 2 miles that way.
Oh yeah, that works too.
Well,
Yeah.
Artie said,
well,
taking
he can
off
fly,
with
and
Appalora
C
smiled
can,
and raced
but the
after
cloud
Artie
thing would
on
be a
foot.
bad idea because he's an Earth Pony and to go right through the cloud.
Meanwhile, at the cottage, the 3 ambassadors were scrambling to get ready for Appalora's party. They planned to clean the cottage, bake a cake, and sew a gown for Appalora that she would wear to meet her real parents as a princess. Although it seemed logical for certain ambassadors to do certain tasks, they had other ideas.
Ooh, I want to try sewing.
Mary Pie said, plopping herself down in front of Flority's sewing supplies.
I wouldn't mind trying to bake a cake. It can't be too difficult, right?
What's a fire?
At least me to clean. Easy enough.
Flority said, walking to the broom closet. Fawnashy pulled Mary Pie's recipe book from the cabinet and placed it gently on the countertop. Her little woodland critter
Whoa,
friends started
deer!
flocking to the window, so she opened it and let them in.
Oh, hello, little friends. Would you like to help me bake a cake for Beauty?
She asked, to which
This.
the critters excitedly chirped and squeaked their reply.
That's not gonna end well.
Flour, milk, eggs, sugar, vanilla, and butter.
The last ingredient had an ink smudge, and Fawnashy squinted, trying to decipher it.
I think it says powder?
Oh
Fawnashy
no.
said,
Hey.
as her forest friends went off in search.
Oh boy.
But what kind of powder?
Uh-oh.
Maybe I should ask some pony.
Fawnashy said, just as Flority walked past.
Oh, Flority, do you know if we have any powder?
Oh, don't be silly, Fawnashy. Of course I have makeup powder.
Not makeup powder.
Lifesaver. Do you need some?
Yes, please.
Up the stairs in a cabinet, darling.
It's not
After
makeup
a few
powder,
minutes of
it's...
searching, Fawnashy and her friends had gathered their ingredients and were ready to start
That's
baking.
actually a beehive.
However, Fawnashy had failed to realize that woodland critters had never baked before and weren't familiar with traditional ingredients. The squirrels had brought 2.5 bluebird eggshells that they had borrowed from the bluebirds. The deer brought rocks covered in lichen. The chipmunks brought acorns. The sparrows brought worms. The rabbits brought dandelions. And the bear brought an entire beehive.
Yikes.
Fawnashy trusted their choices because she knew as much about ingredients and baking as they did. She tenderly dumped a spoonful of makeup powder on top and placed the wooden spoon in the bowl to stir. Meanwhile, Mary Pie had found a bright neon pink dress fabric that appealed to her, and she had wrapped it around her body in a way that she presumed a dress would fit. It draped around her neck, covered her flank, and wove in and out of the holes in her legs, binding them together. She then used her Earth Pony magic from her Earth Pony horn to sew the fabric in place with a small needle and thread.
Oh, Beauty is gonna be even more beautiful in this. You know, it's a good thing she's the same size as the rest of us ponies, am I right?
The others didn't respond. Fawnashy was trying to put her bowl of ingredients into the oven,
That
and
is
Flority was busy with a challenge of her own. Flority looked utterly miserable and covered in dirt and dust. She refused to hold a broom or feather duster in her mouth, so instead tried to use them with her hooves, leading to disastrous results. At that moment, she was reaching with a feather duster in her hoof to clean the top of the mantle above the fireplace. She leaned forward in her pursuit, which caused her to fall face first into the unlit fireplace.
Ouch.
It's everywhere. No matter where I turn. Dirt. Dirt. Nasty, dirty dirt.
Oh.
I'll never be clean again.
Appalora and Artie came bursting through the door at the sound of Flority's cries.
What in the hay is going on here?
Yeah.
Whoa. Looks like a storm hit this place. On the inside. I win, by the way.
Artie said, helping Flority to her hooves.
Yes. Here? Not what I look like this.
Oh.
Aw, but I wasn't ready yet. I still need to finish your dress.
Is that a dress or a straight jacket?
Straight jacket, nice one.
How are you even alive?
Artie, go outside and keep watch for Maleficus while I help my ants clean this place up.
You got it.
Artie said, zipping out the window to keep guard.
Is that supposed to be a squirrel or a dog?
Ooh, who's your friend, Beauty?
Mary Pie asked as Appalora took the end piece of fabric in her mouth and pulled as hard as she was able. Mary Pie spun around in a whirlwind of fabric, looking dazed and dizzy.
Let's do that again.
No, you're dizzy.
Yeah, that's RD.
Hey.
He is a prince from Pegasus Kingdom.
Oh, how fortuitous! A prince is exactly the kind of special some pony I had in mind for you all along.
Sure.
I thought only princesses could marry princes. Does this mean that you are finally telling me I'm Princess Appalora?
The three ambassadors stopped what they were doing and gasped in surprise.
How did you know?
I found it in Mary Pie's scrapbook.
Appalora said.
Why do you keep a scrapbook?
For the other ambassadors to see. On the page before her was an image of the three ambassadors meeting her as an infant, with Mary Pie's hoof writing in pink saying, "The first day we met Appalora." The next page saying, "First day raising her is beauty." Flority and Faunashy looked over at Mary Pie with unamused
Why would you even keep that
expressions.
out?
What? I had to preserve our memories.
Without keeping it.
Since the cat is out of the bag, we might as well take you back to your castle.
What? Why? Wouldn't that just make it easier for Maleficent to find me?
That's
She
true.
knows about Maleficent too?
Appalora turned back a page in the scrapbook to show an image of Maleficent revealing
Why
herself in a cloud
would
of
you
smoke
keep
with a shocked
that
Mary Pie in
out?
the
Why would you
corner,
keep that book
as if she was
out?
pointing the camera at herself when the picture was taken.
Oh, why would you want to preserve that, though?
Yeah.
When I put together a scrapbook, I'm thorough.
You had a camera?
Regardless, we have no choice but to take you to the castle. After all, nothing here is suitable royal attire.
So?
But a princess would not protest.
Besides, your own castle would be the last place Maleficent would look. It's so obvious that it's too obvious.
See?
All right, fine. You win. Any sign of her, RD?
Appalora called outside. Artie came flying back in, shaking her head.
Nope, not yet. Probably too scared of the possibility of going up against me.
Sure.
Let's get a move on before she finds us.
Yeah.
Trust me, that pony ain't never too far away.
Appalora said, ushering the others outside quickly to take the less traveled path to the castle.
There's a... Okay.
With Artie keeping a close eye on the sky and Appalora
Nice
watching
sword.
the trees, the group of ponies made it safely to the castle without so much as a hint that Maleficent was nearby. They entered the castle from a secret back entrance, so as not to alert any pony to their presence. Surprisingly, it didn't take long to find Appalora's room. The 5 ponies entered, and Appalora took a look around in bewilderment. Everything was decorated with apples.
Nice
the
room.
clothes of the room were based off apples, and there wasn't a single step you could take without inhaling a pungent apple scent.
RD,
Good
no!
thing my cutie mark is apples.
Don't
I
eat
hate
the
to have
apple.
Something else there. Celestia forbid the off chance I didn't like them.
Yeah, that ought to be tough.
Where'd you even
Artie
get the apple,
said, her cheeks full
RD?
of apple slices and her hooves full of various apples.
Oh no! Get those out of here at once!
Flority said, exposing her horn for the first time in 16 years and using her magic to teleport them away.
What? What's wrong? Oh, right. That curse. Yeah.
How you know about the
that
curse?
sucked. Those were super delicious.
How you know
Thanks
about
for
the
that.
But tomorrow you can eat as many as you want.
And you'll get to see your parents again.
Now, let's see if there is something suitable in your closet to wear. I suppose this one will have to do, though it is rather plain for a princess.
How is
Flority
it
said.
playing? Looks
Her
nice.
comment made no sense to Appalora, who thought the gemstone embellishes and shimmering fabric was plenty princessy.
Go on, darling, put it on! We'll be right outside waiting for you.
Flority said, pushing the other ambassadors out the door. Artie followed for a moment before doubling back when she caught sight of an apple Flority's magic had missed. She scooped it up off the ground to keep it away from Appalora.
Sorry, almost missed this one. Also, is it just me or is it weird that your pretend aunts want every pony out of the room? Isn't that, like, more dangerous to leave you alone?
Took the words right out of my mouth, RD.
Yeah, you kinda
Artie
did.
smirked and pounced on the bed, laying on her back and adjusting the pillows to best suit her. She took the apple she'd found and cut off a slice using a knife from her satchel.
Do you have to do that so close? It's been forever since I've had one.
Yeah.
Literally. And the smell in this room is already driving me crazy.
Careful.
Sorry, Appalora. There's a reason why this kingdom's known for its apples. I couldn't just let it go to waste.
Oh.
Not every slice of apple is going to have a seed in it. You're being a bit paranoid.
Uh.
Just want me to cut you a seedless slice?
Apollora's ears perked up,
Uh-oh.
and she walked out from behind the changing curtain in her new dress. She narrowed her eyes at Artie and thought back to some of the things she had said. It wasn't like Artie to point out plot holes, nor was it like her to tempt her with a bite, knowing the curse was still intact.
Consarn it, Pinkie Pie! What have you done with RD?
What? No. Who's Pinkie Pie?
Cut the act, Maleficus. I know it's you. How does switching roles with Chrysalis give you changeling powers?
Yeah.
Artie's face melted into a scowl. She growled. And in a bright burst of pink smoke, her disguise was gone, revealing that she was indeed Maleficus.
How'd you know?
Pointing out plot holes.
I can't help it. When something ridiculous happens, I just have to let ponies know. That's part of Pinkie Tales. Look, just eat this apple already, will ya?
No.
Only got 10 more minutes.
10 more
Not my
minutes.
fault you procrastinated till the last day.
I'm just doing what the movie did. I think it creates tension or suspense or something. No one wants to watch a story where Apollora's curse comes true when she's still a baby. Eat it.
Nice try, but you aren't gonna get me so easily. Just because the others play along with your crazy stories,
Your
doesn't
mouth
mean
is
I have
open,
to.
so
Not to mention the fact that I don't think any pony could choke on something so small.
Yeah.
It's practically impossible.
Is that
Couldn't you
right?
have just left it as touching a spindle?
AJ,
Did you
stop
all have to
talking.
make it
Stop
up one way
talking.
that It doesn't make sense.
There, what?
The thing is, Apolora, these are called Pinkie Tales, not Apple Tales, which means whatever I say goes. And it just so happens that I'm the villain this time. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't mess with the fourth wall breaking villain. It's done.
The ambassadors outside heard Apollora coughing and sputtering and burst open the door in panic. By the time they found her, Maleficus was gone, and the deed was done.
Oh no, the curse! I never should have left her alone.
Yeah, way to go.
But if the curse worked, shouldn't we be...
Mary Pie said, before collapsing on the floor as
Uh-oh.
the other ambassadors didn't have
And-
a chance to react, as they too fell to the ground.
Oh,
in
that was...
slumber. Like a shockwave, Flority's revised curse
Hey!
spread to all the
Magpie
inhabitants
lost.
of the castle,
Lost
including
narrator.
the staff, nobility, the knights, and the king and queen. Apollora laid on her bed in a deep slumber.
Not sure how I'm awake, but here I am. Pinkie's so-called powers can't affect the self-aware, apparently. It's something to do with that wall she keeps mentioning.
The fourth wall.
Regardless, if she thinks I'm gonna play along and wait for a prince, then she's got another thing coming. Who am I talking to?
Yeah, who are you
Maleficus wasn't
talking
too
to?
far away from the castle, watching it unfold with a devilish grin on her face. She was, of course, aware of Flority's alteration of her curse, but she had her own plans to fix that.
What started with a seed can end with a seed. Or seeds. Whatever, the pun still works.
Maleficus said, producing a bag of small black seeds and spreading them around Apollora's castle. Almost immediately, the seeds
Oh
took root
no,
and
not
turned
the
into
one
thick,
from Neverfree
strong black
Forest.
vines with blue spikes. They engulfed the outer castle walls and entrances, and continued growing in and over the castle itself, effectively trapping the ponies inside.
Hey!
Maleficus sharply turned around to see Prince Artie flying towards her, enraged.
No pony ties me up and gets away with it! What have you done with Apolora?
See for yourself, little Pegasus. For my curse has been fulfilled. You'll never get to Apolora or her friends. It's so much fun to play the bad guy.
No.
Bet! I live for a challenge. Your vines and spells can't keep me away from my truest love.
Get her, RD.
Love? You mean even more than that mermaid you met back when your name was Dashy?
Stop
She
trying to
turned
break the fourth
Pegasus
wall
in the
again,
end,
Pinkie.
So you two could be together?
Oh, her? You try spending 5 minutes in the same room with that mare. She's way too energetic. Sometimes just downright crazy. She has this really nasally, annoying voice, too. I liked her better when she couldn't talk. You know, now that I think about it, you kind of sound like her. Are you two related or something?
Energetic?
Oh, no.
Annoying? Crazy?
Oh boy. Yeah.
Because they will be your last.
Yikes.
She utilized the changeling power
Oh,
that
she turned into a dragon.
position and turned herself into a giant pink fire-breathing dragon.
Yikes.
Hurt and enraged by the prince's words, she attacked, breathing fire in his direction and swiping at him with her claws. The prince smirked and drew his sword, ready to counter her attacks.
A dragon? Ha! Finally a challenge worthy of a prince like me!
Ooh!
Maleficent's
Yeah,
tail
stop talking and start fighting, RD.
sending him speeding through the air backwards and directly into the ground, instantly knocking him out cold.
Oh.
Hey, Maleficus! Forget some pony?
Apollonia shouted, spinning a lasso in the air that was made out of the still-growing vines surrounding the castle. She galloped towards the dragon. Taking advantage of Maleficus's momentary state of shock, Apollonia tossed the lasso around Maleficus's neck with a hearty
Yeehaw, you big mean critter!
Maleficus roared in anger.
This is a interesting, weird story.
Finding it more difficult to break than she had realized. Already the vine had grown to double its strength, and it wasn't showing signs of stopping.
That's for turning me into all kinds of crazy things in your stories. A wolf, a pig, a monkey, and a clock?
Apollonia
I forget the monkey one.
Vine and raced around an apple tree to pull it tight. As Maleficus struggled to get her neck free, she wasn't watching where she was stepping and tripped over the vine, causing her to tumble into one of the castle towers.
Oh, not the castle!
That's for making me the fairy apple mother in Cindershy.
Ooh.
You gave me that dress knowing full well I wouldn't like it.
Maleficus continued to roar in anger and confusion. She was trapped by the vines growing around the castle, caught by her own evil spell. Apollonia spied Prince Artie's sword on the ground near where he had fallen, so she quickly picked it up and faced Maleficus.
And this is for your worst deed of all. Trying to make me sleep so RD would have to kiss me to wake up.
Apollonia reared up on her hind legs and tossed the sword directly at the dragon's chest. Maleficus's eyes narrowed, knowing there was no way she could stop it. And at the last moment before the sword struck her chest, she changed back from a pink dragon into a green and black one?
Pinkie!
Oh yeah, that! I wanted to be the villain, but I didn't want to do the whole death thing, so I swapped back. It was super fun while it lasted, though. I almost believed that AJ was really mad at me.
She was!
Good actress.
She's
Isn't
really
that cheating?
Are you saying that you would want to see me die?
Well, no,
You know,
but don't you usually just capture the villain or reform them or something?
Normally, yeah. But I think I might have made AJ a little too angry.
No, you really made her...
Story. Chrissy will be back to causing havoc and mayhem in Equestria in no time.
There's a...
Okay,
but there's
if you say so. Maleficus was vanquished, and her massive dragon body dissolved, leaving nothing behind but Artie's sword. Because her magic had a hand in creating the black vines, they disappeared as well, leaving only Flority's...
Hey, Derpy! What are you doing?
What happened? Huh? I did it? I vanquished the dragon! Oh, yeah!
Artie said she took off in a victory flight, and only paused when she saw Apollonia nearby.
Oh my gosh! She must be sleepwalking! Don't worry, my sweet, for I will break this curse just as I have rid this kingdom of Maleficus.
That won't be necessary.
Whoa! And she sleep talks too?
She's not asleep!
Me! Huh. How adorably predictable.
Artie said, cornering Apollonia against the castle wall.
Wait, RD, I think your first kiss worked just fine.
First kiss?
Yeah, you vanquished the dragon, and then you, found me sleeping up in that tower, and, kissed me to break the spell. Then you, came back down here, and one of the loose bricks from the tower over there hit you on the head, and you passed out. Yep.
Well, that explains it.
No, it doesn't.
Why isn't everybody else awake?
Yeah.
Artie said,
Oh, that's cute, Bonbon Ryla thing.
We're all still fast asleep.
Because you have to kiss the pony who created the sleeping spell, Flority. But
Flority?
Just on the cheek works fine, I'm sure.
All right, let's go.
This is not gonna end well.
Once in the tower, Apollonia finally realized why the dragon had changed colors moments before it was vanquished. Mary Pie was a pink pony again, back in the role she should have had all along.
Yeah.
She was pretending to be asleep on the floor, but Apollonia knew better.
Kissing Flority on the cheek should break her sleeping spell since she was the one who created it.
Yeah.
I know, I get it. We just talked about it outside.
Just making
Ignore.
sure every pony knew how this should work.
Just
Laura said,
kiss.
spying Mary Pie secretly winking in her direction. Artie planted a small peck on Flority's cheek, and the spell started reversing itself, waking the sleeping ponies in the castle.
Oh, Appalora, you're all right.
Faunashy said, rubbing her eyes.
Thank goodness.
Hey, why isn't that third pony awake yet?
Artie asked, pointing to Mary Pie, who was still asleep, supposedly. Appalora was confused for a moment. Then the realization hit her.
I think Mary Pie needs a kiss too.
Okay.
Artie said, and without a moment's hesitation, she gave Mary Pie a peck on the cheek. Mary Pie bounced up from the floor joyously.
See, there was a true love's kiss in here after all. And I didn't even have to be the princess this time. End. I'm sure there was another page in there about tying up loose ends and Appalora seeing her parents again. But there was a chance that RD was going to declare his love for some pony else, and I wasn't about to let that happen.
Sure.
Hey, I just realized the only pony who didn't slumber in that whole story was Applejack. Remember? Because in one scene, RD was taking a nap in the tree, and then
Yes.
got everyone else later. Looks like the Cake Twins might still be under that spell. See you all next time for more Pinkie Tales.
Well, that was interesting. Next time is Pinkie Tales Sky Blue in the 7 colors. Oh, that's gonna be I know what that one's gonna be. Well, that was weird Pinkie Tail, I gotta say. I didn't even know how to respond to that one. That one was just weird. It had a lot of story people changing characters, mostly Pinkie, Chrysalis, which I love Chrysalis, by the way. Applejack. Yeah, I can't blame you. I can go with you, AJ, on that one. You did not. That was just terrible what Pinkie did, making you had to say goo goo gaga stuff. That's just mean. And wow, see, AJ was angry at the end. I never seen AJ that angry. But I didn't want to see Pinkie die. But come on, Pinkie, changing roles. That's just mean, really mean. But this one had a lot of fourth wall breaking in it. And I'm kind of okay with it, but still, could be a little better. But yeah, I don't know what to say. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe for more. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter. I'll be doing this and other MLP episodes when they're when it's the right date, and other MLP fan-made videos. Till next time. It's been a bit fun from Princess Pinkie Tales, Princess Pinkie Tales, Slumber Jack. Till next time. Bye.